think Christie, though, has a good point about Nikki Haley in that she's still trying to have it both ways. So, yeah, I was part of the Trump administration. She says Trump was the right president at the time, but no longer is. And that just never made a lot of sense to me. It seems like you're either going Christie's route and just being totally anti-Trump or not running. It didn't work for Christie, I think, for various other reasons. It was his second race. People didn't trust him. His moment has passed. But it could work for somebody else.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with magazine editor David Mark. And David, New Hampshire
Yes.
Is coming up, so is Iowa.
Yep.
And last night, at the time of this taping, we had the final debate before Iowa and New Hampshire. How do you think Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis did? And does it matter at this point?
Yeah, I think it's pretty predictable. They spent basically the first half of it or so going at each other, saying how terrible the other was. That's what debates are for in primaries. But of course, they didn't really touch Donald Trump, the former president and frontrunner. They did in the second half somewhat to start to go after him, but it's still clear they are not comfortable on that road. And that's really the only way to conceivably win the nomination is to go after the frontrunner.
What needs to happen in Iowa, both for Ron DeSantis and then for Nikki Haley, for either of them to have a chance? What's like the best case scenario for each of them?
I think if Nikki Haley could come in a strong second, within single digits even of Donald Trump, that would be considered a pretty good finish. That would set her up for the New Hampshire primary, where it looks like she's within striking distance of Trump. I think DeSantis is way down, and he would really have to overcome. But he's probably also in a position he has to come in second in Iowa, and it's just not clear in New Hampshire how we could even translate that. But stranger things have happened. It's 8 days between the Iowa caucuses and New Hampshire primary, so it's possible, but he seems to have a tougher road than does Nikki Haley.
You know, when Christie left the race this week on a hot mic, an alleged hot mic, he was caught saying that Nikki Haley is going to get smoked and that Ron DeSantis probably going to drop out after Iowa. Do you think those were accurate observations?
Yeah, I wonder if that was really a hot mic or not, because Christie said it almost like he was on a camera or being taped.
And it was strategic because those headlines kind of overshadowed Christie dropped out. The hot mic moment was almost just as big of a story.
Yeah.
So
I think Christie, though, has a good point about Nikki Haley in that she's still trying to have it both ways. So, yeah, I was part of the Trump administration. She says Trump was the right president at the time, but no longer is. And that just never made a lot of sense to me. It seems like you're either going Christie's route and just being totally anti-Trump or not running. It didn't work for Christie, I think, for various other reasons. It was his second race. People didn't trust him. His moment has passed. But it could work for somebody else.
Well, David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You can get more reporting from David and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.